What is your email delivery rate like? And what stats should you be looking at? And how do you make those stats go up? And how do you know if you're on par with the rest of the industry, what everyone else is doing, and what should you be aiming for? All of these questions I get asked every single day, and I've got a video for you, just this short video, for some insight into your email delivery, email deliverability, and what stats you should be looking at and what you should be aiming for. Don't ignore it, or you'll be facing low deliverability rates, and your email's simply not getting through to your customers. So let's go and take a look now. So let's have a look at some results on emails and what sorts of stats you should be looking for with your email broadcast that you send out to your database. So how many people open your emails is very important. How many people click on a link in your emails is even more important. How many people unsubscribe? We should be monitoring this. How many people complain? Should be monitoring this. So, open rate. How many people open your emails? What you should be looking at is around 28%. Okay, the average for email open rate is around about 28%. Now that goes up in some industries and down in other industries, but on average it's around about 28%. We can, however, aim towards 50% if we always send out relevant content to our database, okay? If we keep it relevant, if we keep it now, if we talk to our ideal customer in that communication all the time, we can increase that to 50%. So we can also increase our emails. If you have a look at one of your emails and it's lower than 28%, we can increase by using these ways. The first one is having a look at the subject. If the subject isn't compelling enough to open the email, people won't open it. So you can test that. You can also test the preview text, okay? So mobile phones now, they show the first line of the email on the device before you click through to open it. So we have control. I know we have control over that in Infusionsoft, and you have control over that in MailChimp as well, to make sure that's a compelling reason why someone should open your email. If we choose the right content that's going to the right segment of our database, then the chances are people are going to open and read our emails more often. If you're a business that sells fruit salad and someone has opted in about oranges and you always send them emails about apples and they don't open them, it's because you're not sending relevant content, okay? You're not sending the right content to the right segment of your database. So being aware of this is very, very important. Don't just send out emails that might suit everyone in your database if you have people segmented in there. The next thing you can do is split test your emails to get the right results. You know, always be testing and measuring to see what you can do to get the right results. And always practice good list hygiene. You need to go through your list. You need to check and see if people aren't reading your email and then potentially take them off the list. If someone's gone for 3 or 4 months without opening or reading an email, it could be because they no longer have that email address, they're no longer interested. And this one is very, very important. If you continually send your emails to someone on Gmail or Hotmail or Yahoo or BigPond or any of those, and they're not opening them, if they don't open them for a week, that's okay. A couple of weeks, that's okay. But as that grows, each one of those major email providers monitor your domain and what people are doing with it. If people aren't opening the email, then the value of your domain goes down. And eventually, if enough people aren't opening your emails and you're sending to enough people at Google, for example, they're going to put you straight into the spam instead of allowing you to go into the inbox first, okay? So it's very, very important that you don't keep sending to people that aren't opening your emails. So the click rate. The average click-through rate is between 1 to 5%. It's a fairly big range, actually, 1 to 5%, but it's the average click-through rate. Now, we need to aim towards 5% or above. In an actual case, if you're always sending out relevant and regular content, this can be up around 10 to 15 to 20%. To increase the content, we need to watch our copywriting, okay? We've got to have that problem and that agitation and that solution, and the solution being whatever we need them to click through on. We've also got to have one email one purpose. I'm going to say that again. It's very, very important. We've got to have one email and one purpose. Okay? If your email has many, many purposes or many, many calls to action, chances are people won't take action on any of them. If you have one click through, one action, one thing you want people to do in the email, there's much more chance of people actually taking that action. Sending relevant, segmented emails to the relevant segment of your database. Very, very important. And one call to action. Went through it before. One call to action in the email will get much higher click-through rate. And then also, if the precedent is set that when someone clicks through on an email and they get good reward, good content, if you set that precedent, then people are more likely to click through every time they get an email from you. If you set the precedent of sending through crap, then that's what's going to come back as well. So now the unsubscribe rates. What you should be looking at for unsubscribe rates is around 0.25%. If your unsubscribe rate is higher than that, then there's a problem. We need to aim to be under that, absolutely. And to decrease it, we've got to make sure we're sending less crap. Most important. We need to make sure that our emails are relevant to what people have opted in for in our database. Very, very important. We need to make sure we segment our database. If people are opting in for oranges and apples and bananas and pears, we need to make sure we keep sending them stuff about oranges and apples and bananas and pears more frequently than the entire fruit salad, if that makes sense. Now, complaint rate. The complaint rate is when someone complains about your email, about spam, so forth and so on. Now, this rate is about 10% of the rate of our unsubscribe rate, 0.25%. We need to aim to be under that. Now, to decrease it, we send less crap. We've got to be relevant. We've got to segment and relevant and have segmented relevant information going out to our database. This is when someone complains and marks you as spam, okay? This is the thing we want to keep very, very low. And especially with the Googles and the Hotmails and the BigPonds and the Yahoos and the OptusNets of the world, because they look at this very intently. If someone complains on one of your emails, it's a trigger. If many people complain on one of your emails, then it's a big trigger, and you don't want to be blocked by these email providers. It's hard to get back into their good books, okay? So some stats, some important things for you to think about so that you can make sure you're getting the most out of your emails and the most out of your database.